Recording in progress. Welcome, beloved, to this beautiful message from the divine for the divine feminine, divine masculine collective. And it's a very simple message, but it's also very profound. So we have this portal that has started, like throughout this month, we're going to have a lot of influx of codes coming into Earth, and we're trying to land them with the most positive, highest timeline perspective in alignment with the divine. Okay, so so what's coming in today is the profoundness of divine feminine in divine masculine. And why do I say the profoundness? Yes, my hair is just happy to be itself. It's just feeling so free. So the profoundness of divine feminine, divine masculine. And this is a message mostly for divine feminines because it's divine feminine that has to do the more profound inner work. And then divine masculine reflects that to us. And there's a misunderstanding in the spiritual community that when we're talking about divine masculines, we're talking about the most powerful men on earth. And the most powerful doesn't mean the most famous. It just means very brilliant men with brilliant minds, deep soul connections, very, very strong, and powerful. But there's some misunderstanding, when because they do attract a lot of female attention, it's very normal. But there's a misunderstanding, that divine masculines are sweet little angels. I'll put it like that. And no, they're not. No, they're not. Okay. So why am I using these words is because, there has been a lot of interference with divine unions, and this unclarity to think that divine masculines are these sweet little angels, and they're not. They are the most brilliant, more powerful, strong men on earth because they have walked through hell. Okay, walked through hell. So yes, so you were not placed in hell and survive hell by being a sweet, sweet angel. Does that make sense? So these masculines are healing some of the most traumatic, evil timelines on earth. And before they became conscious, they were placed unconsciously in these realms and in these timelines on purpose, so that they can learn from evil and heal it. So, so we're talking about masculines that are healing, crimes that are not even worth mentioning to humanity. And so divine feminines are the same. They're very strong woman. You are not to place us on a box. You cannot say divine feminine looks like this, or divine feminine dresses like that, or divine feminine does her hair like this. Every single step of our process of divine feminine and divine masculine is divinely guided. Every single step. So you may find divine feminines that are, they're still within the matrix, grabbing codes and learning. And you might find divine feminines that are fully awakening and guiding other divine feminines home. okay? So the reason this is coming in is because not all souls are meant to go through all this hell. You know, we are creating pathways and roads and just clear intentions so that the next generation of divine feminines, divine masculines don't have to go through all this pain. They could just, move through it on a very softer, more loving, um, because there's some misunderstanding that the more rough, the more evil you experience, the more, what, how can I, yeah, the more cool you are, put it like that. But it's not. The reason we went through this wasn't because it was cool. It was because it was necessary. There was no option. Believe me, if we had options, we would have taken them. There was no other option. There was no other way to do it. And we just had to do the work like that. So when we're talking about work, we're not talking about the many jobs that we had and things like that. We're talking about the tremendous amount of self-awareness and self-love it takes to get out of those hells and create beauty out of that. True alchemy. So what's coming in today is if you are, you know, craving to be what a divine masculine or a divine feminine, this path, and you're expecting a sweet, sweet angel, you are not gonna find that. If you're looking for cloud, like they say, uh, to be famous and have the Rolls Royce or whatever cars or whatever, and and the money, um, and that's it. Telling you, it's not just it. Even if we are destined for great wealth and abundance, that doesn't mean you could just jump into that. Well, because your energetic system has to be able to content not only the wealth but all the process. And you see this beautiful divine masculine and you marry him, and divine masculines, they're emperors. They don't take orders. They're very, they know what to do. And so does divine feminine. So the reason we are aligned with our counterpart is because we hold the same soul. And so there's no effort for us, we communicate telepathically, there's no effort. And it's very natural for us to have our relationship. We don't expect nothing from each other, and we don't give orders to each other because we each know what we have to do. So the reason I'm making this clear is because you might be lusting for a divine feminine or a divine masculine that does not belong to you, and that is not appropriate. The appropriate thing is for you to work on your own life and on your own self and trust that the divine will align you to the beautiful person that belongs to you, that will not require any effort or no breaking homes. I'll just say it like that. And so yes, it is true, many divine feminines and in many divine masculines, we our homes were broken, put it like that. But it wasn't because we wanted to, it was the divine moving things, okay, for the greater of humanity. And we're not just looking for a married man to break their home, or a woman to break their home. That's just not appropriate. what you will find about divine masculines and divine feminines is we're profoundly always deeply in love with the divine. Nobody has to enforce it on us. Nobody has to convince us. Nobody has to tell us this is the way, like we just do it very naturally since we're children. We are always looking for the divine, in nature, in in our creations. We're always finding divinity in everything and in everyone and under beautiful eyes. So it's very natural for us, you know. But we did go through a lot of pain, tremendous pain. We lost a lot of people, uh, just a lot of pain. And we don't wish that pain on nobody. And that's why we create, this. Our creations are, you will see are inspired on creating beauty and creating peace and creating harmony for us and for others, service to others, exactly. So I hope that the message is very understood. Divine feminine, divine feminine, you will not be able to put her in a box. You will not be able to tell her how to dress, how to do her hair, how to anything. She knows what she has to do. She doesn't need anybody to tell her. And she will do what divine masculine desires at his heart at a very natural way because they do share heart coherence. So we don't have to pretend we're somebody else. Okay? We don't have to pretend we're somebody else. We just be naturally ourselves. And our divine masculine, oh, they just know in their heart, like that's it, because it's a heart thing. It's not a mind thing or a manipulation thing. So, these masculines, they're not able to be manipulated or convinced or, or mold or whatever. It's they're brilliant. That's the best way I see it. And, they're a true reflection of the divine. But like I mentioned, like they're healing tremendous pain for their, for their generations and, divine feminines too. So yeah, divine masculines too, they're very tough, like if you're trying to tell them what to do, you're wasting your time. Okay, they know what to do. Uh, we all just know what to do. We're spiritual adults. Okay, so this leads me to the last part. So being in alignment with your divine masculine means you're in alignment on all levels, all the way from the elements to the physical body, to the emotional, to the mental body, to higher self, to source level, and to the not manifested self of ourselves. And it's very natural. We don't have to force it. We don't have to learn any books. We don't have to basically do anything. That's just who we are. Okay, it's just natural. We don't force anything. We're just aligned in all levels. Now, if you in your heart aspire to one day marry your twin flame and you want to be aligned, you have to, understand these things. If you do not understand these things, there's many academies being open, there's many divine feminines and divine masculines that can guide you home to your own heart, okay, not to our heart, to your own heart, so that you understand these levels of yourself. And when you understand who you are, it's very natural that you're going to understand who your counterpart is. So if you desire to marry your counterpart, or you desire to uplevel your beautiful, already existing kingdom relationship, going deep into who you are will just make those flourish like very beautifully. But what we're trying to ground today is the profound understanding that these masculines, especially on the masculines, because there's a lot of codes for the divine masculines that are coming in, is that, you know, we hold what they call the God code, and the God code is sovereignty. So, you know, manipulation tactics and things like that, they just don't work on divine masculines. Okay, they're very wise. And yes, they are very innocent. They have a beautiful heart, like, you know, the divine, pristine, innocent heart. They do have it, but they also have the wisdom from all that they had, all the pain they went through, and becoming aware of how that pain was created for them. It's not easy. It requires a lot of love, a lot of love, and you know, it's a lot of love. Okay, a lot of love. So divine feminines, we have a very, very double job, because we have to bring that love down, and at the same time, we have to heal our own hell. So it's just very deep to understand that these are, if you're expecting your divine masculine to appear in your reality, if you're a divine feminine working on yourself seriously, and you're expecting divine masculine to come in as a sweet little angel that has never done anything wrong, you know, whatever, you're fooling yourself. Okay, these are masculines that were put in places that needed healing. And you need to have a lot of awareness of what alchemy and self-love is, to understand and, you know, forgive yourself for many painful steps. I'll just say it like that. So that's what's coming in. If you're expecting your divine masculine to be sweet, sweet angel, you know, very perfectly, you know, like super, you know, they are very handsome. Divine masculines are very handsome, but you're expecting them to be, you know, just little perfect, you know, like, I'll tell you what to do, you're wasting your time. Okay. And that is why divine feminines are always encouraged to work on themselves, so that they can bring more love down for themselves, for divine masculines, and for the communities we are. And we all have different roles. Some are smaller ones, some are bigger ones. But what I have seen is that the smallest ones sometimes are the ones that require more knowledge and more love and more alchemy. And, you know, that's why I always say I have met the spirit of silver in many realms. As a dragon is a, how do you call them? Like like a warrior. I have met him as a, yeah, as a leprechaun. And my leprechaun, my tiny little leprechaun, it's my favorite one. And the way I say like that is because we have to understand that tiny little roles are very important. So, and in my blessings, I receive a blessing. I have a CD. It's called, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically the ability to understand how timeline works, timelines, multiple timelines. And what the divine showed me was very scary, because it showed me, for example, I'm working on this little crochet project. But when I was trying to learn how to make shoes, you know, they're always making me learn stuff, the divine. I'm a magical maker. And that's so I have respect, and I remain humble, and I honor the tiny little roles. So what they show me is that one little needle thread, one little loop changes the whole, all of our timelines, everyone's timelines. And when I seen this, I got very scared. It was terrifying, you know, to see that if I'm working on little project, like teeny little project, like this with my needle, I'm changing all of creation. But the divine told me, no, do not be scared, I'm working through you. But the reason the divine showed me this is because, it's giving me a lot more and more power and more power. And I have to remain humble, and I have to remain center and balanced, and always understand that, because I was scary. I was like, I don't want to do anything, like one little needle changes everything. And the divine was like, no, I'm taking care of you, like, so it was more like to take my fear away, that I'm not alone, and that I'm just being part of this creation. But it's also so that when I receive all of my humongous blessings that are slowly coming into my reality, so that I remain humble and respectful of my own process, of myself, and also the beautiful people I'm serving. So to honor them, yeah, as I honor them, I honor myself. So it's basically like you the more you understand all of creation, the teeny bitsy parts, the more you're gonna understand the big humongous parts. If that makes sense. So all these blessings are gonna start coming in for divine feminines into their reality and divine masculines. But the reason, I'm sorry, the reason we are given this is because we were put in situations, and we were have to understand the teeny bitsy parts first. So that require a lot of work. And it's not about saying we work more than others. It's about understanding that we are honoring, uh, you know, like we decided this before we were even born, and we are here to help, not to hurt. And I'll just close it up with, the way my Gnostic teacher will say it was very beautiful. He will say, we're terribly beautiful. Divine feminines and divine masculines are terribly beautiful. Horribly beautiful, he will say. Horribly beautiful. We are powerfully soft. Powerfully soft. No? And tremendously tiny ukulele. We're tremendously tiny. Humongously tiny. That's our awareness, yes. Our soul. So, it's very deep. It requires a lot of, introspection to understand these teachers were trying to tell us. Like, what do you mean horribly beautiful? What do you mean tremendously, terribly soft? You know, we could use chaotically soft or chaotically harmony. And so the two extremes will help you understand divine feminines and divine masculines. We are not teeny, bitsy, sweet, innocent angels. Even though you may see us, like divine feminines are usually very beautiful, very sensual. Divine masculines too. But the innocence that we hold in our heart and the balance in our minds is horrifying to many. So sovereignty codes are very important to understand this path. No manipulation. No manipulation. It's gonna work here. No tactics. This has to be done from within with serious honesty for ourselves, not for fame, not for, you know, even though we are, we are called into roles that, they're leadership roles, and we are blessed with a lot of prosperity codes and abundance for, now we chose ourselves. Does that mean that if you are not activated as a divine feminine or divine masculine, that you cannot have that for yourself? No, all the opposite. What we are saying is, yes, you can aspire to this. You don't have to go through all the pain that we went through, but you do have to take very seriously your inner knowing and your inner awareness and your inner truth. Being honest with yourself, not with anybody else, with yourself. Being honest with who you are and where you want to be. And, not being afraid of claiming you want a different life. So that's it. That's what's coming in. If you are on this, path and you're a divine masculine, you're not going to be able to put your divine feminine on a box. She's just not going to fit the checklist. She's going to be perfect for you. You don't have to pretend to be nobody. You don't have to show up as nobody else but yourself. And she's going to love you so deeply. And she's going to understand exactly what you have gone through, all the health steps, I'll just call it like that, because she has gone through them too. Does this make sense? And, I'm saying the same thing for divine feminines, but I'm going to add, you don't have to, grab his attention. You don't have to, dress down or dress up. You can just be yourself, what comes naturally to you. He's going to love you. He loves you exactly as you are. You don't have to, exaggerate your duties or things like that. For him, he loves you unconditionally. He loves protecting you. He loves providing for you. You don't have to tell him to provide. You don't have to ask him to protect you. You don't have to ask him for, anything. He loves protecting you. He loves providing for you. And he loves you, period. And you don't have to do nothing to earn that. But the work you're doing, divine feminine, is not for him, it's for you. So it's so that your heart could be at peace. So love yourself. Honor all of the health steps you have gone through, divine feminine. Honor all of those steps. Honor yourself. Respect yourself. Love yourself. Love your body. Be integral for you. You don't have to worry about divine masculines. They're brilliant. They're brilliant, and they know, they think exactly like you. They feel like you. You just work on yourself. And hold love for yourself. He's holding love for yourself too, for himself and for you, and you're holding it for him. But the focus is on you, divine feminine. Please understand, you're not going to have an angel, come in. And he it's a very wise person. It's a very wise man that you're gonna have come in. Okay? You don't have to pretend or teach or anything. We're teaching for the collective, not the divine masculine. Teaching to the collective, Yeah, they're naturally protectors and providers. You don't have to worry about that, or about some other girl stealing him or stuff like that. No. The profoundness you have for your divinity is the same profoundness they have, and you don't have to do anything to earn that. You just focus on yourself, on your beauty. I love beauty. I have a lot of beauty codes that were divine feminines were protecting, and we're also healing, because we all know they have been misused, for vanity and lust and things like that. But we are not focused on that. We're focusing on, bringing in our own unique beauty and being true to ourselves as feminines. And believe me when I tell you, you don't have to change anything, and the divine masculine will meet you where you are at. The more you work on yourself, the more you love yourself, the more he's going to meet you there. And that's it. So, yeah, we're horribly beautiful and, strongly soft and chaotically balanced. It's just peaceful. Chaotically peaceful, yes. So that's who divine feminine and divine masculine are. And that's what's coming in. Please integrate this. This is very deep. Yeah, there's many more divine masculine codes coming in, and along with Christmas codes and divine mother mantles. And I'll be sharing most of them in the subscription area. But when I am asked to, I will bring out what I need to bring. Okay, I love you always. Please focus on yourself and trust the divine, because that's what we're here to teach, that we trusted the divine no matter what. So if we're gonna teach that, we have to do it right. Okay, have a beautiful and amazing day. See you when I see you.